my name is Jack Brust, and today I'm here to talk to you about one of the biggest problems in America. A problem so big it has affected 1/6 of America's children. That's right, I'm here to talk to you about hidden sugars. Look at the average jar of red sauce on the board. Can anyone guess how many grams of sugar are in just this one jar? Well, there's actually 144 grams of sugar in just this one jar. That's this much sugar. Don't you just want to chug it down? That's just one of the everyday foods with a ton of hidden sugars in them. Others include bread, spaghetti, sausages, peanut butter, and granola bars. The list goes on. Now, you may not have known about all the sugar in these everyday foods, but you probably knew that foods such as soda and candy, that they had sugar in them. Well, if you look at the back of the product on their nutrition label, you might not see sugar. That's because there's over 60 different names for sugar that food companies are allowed to put on their labels. Some of them include glucose, fructose, anhydrous dextrose, succinate, and maltose. When you hear those, do any of them sound like they mean sugar? Now, the main problem with added sugar is that it can make you overweight. And if you eat too much of it, it can make you obese. Did you know that over 1/3 of all Americans are obese? That's 107.7 million people. And that's just America. Imagine what the percent for the entire world would be. Now, I've just been naming the problems that come with added sugar. But what are the solutions? Well, I have a couple in mind. Better labeling. You know how when you look at the back of for example, tomato sauce we were talking about earlier, it'll say something like serving size, 61 grams, servings per container, 48. And then it will list how much of the ingredients are in 61 grams of the red sauce. Well, when I look at the nutrition label, I don't really check that. I just assume that the amount of ingredients it's saying is the amount of ingredients in the entire product. And even when I do check the label, I don't really feel like doing 61 times 48 while I'm not in class. Now, food companies will try to make the serving size as small as possible so that you would think that there's almost no sugar in it. They don't do this anymore, but Coca-Cola used to say that there were 2 servings per container for an average can of Coke. Tell me, when you drink a can of Coke, do you usually drink half the can? No, you drink the whole thing. I think that we should get rid of the serving size altogether. I think that instead of it saying the amount of sugar in the serving size, it should say the amount of sugar in the entire product, and yeah. Whoops, okay. So imagine if that actually works. Imagine if we get rid of the serving size. That doesn't mean that people will check the label in the first place. Another solution is to move the nutrition label to the front of the product instead of on the back or the side where it is now. When you go grocery shopping, people don't really check the label. Why? Because they forget it exists. It's on the back of the product. Nobody really checks the back of the product. I think that we should I think that if the FDA changes its laws about food labeling and puts it on the front, people will be more aware of what they are eating. That's a good thing, right? In conclusion, added sugar is important. Obesity is life-threatening but preventable. It can lead to harmful diseases such as heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Each one of those diseases is deadly. So have fruit instead of candy. Cook your own food. Avoid added sugar. Check the nutrition label. And just eat healthier in general. Thank you for listening.